Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Talk episode 45. This is the Smallville retrospective podcast here on this channel. I'm one third of your co-host. My name is Ryan Cam. Man, this was a rough string of episodes, but we got through them. Starting things off from 3D movie cinema, it is Jacob Collins. Jacob, you're holding the Blu-ray for the wrong Superman show we're talking about. That's Superman and Lois.
You know what? This is a better show. Fuck Smallville. I'm done with this piece of shit show.
He's kidding.
I will say this episode. I do love the show, so I'm just joking and making a joke. But
Yeah.
these are three of the weakest episodes so far. These are three of the weakest episodes of season 6. Like, you got one episode that is a PSA on George Bush's immigration policy in 2006. Then you have one episode that's basically about Hydra Woman from Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man ripoff villain that basically just turns into water. Then you have one freaking episode that literally is basically a ripoff of the movie Frequency.
Yeah.
Where you have a villain who's dressed like Michael Douglas and falling down.
The same outfit, but we'll touch that on that in just a second. I got to introduce the other third of this show, Matt Wyatt. Matt, how you doing?
We all know when he talks shit about the show as a whole, we know he's full of shit.
It's like,
if you've been watching us for a while now, you know that he's full of shit for most of the time. But yeah, like I will agree that we had a little bit of a rough for 3 episodes. Some of them were better than others, but the third one with Hydro, dog shit. That was wow. What did we just watch? We got into that bullshit love drama, the love triangle, for not giving Lex an answer. I know we'll get into that. And you had Tori Spelling from 90210, whatever, from coming off of that show.
Hydro sucks ass through a paper straw, but we'll cross.
Subterranean also sucks. All 3 of these episodes.
I think Subterranean, even though it wasn't great, the Subterranean was a better episode than this garbage.
I really can't defend either episode. I'm really like, but if you say, like, for instance, if Ryan right now were to say Subterranean sucks ass the worst, I would agree. But if Matt were to say Hydra sucks ass the worst, I would agree, because both of those 2 episodes are basically in the same tilting area. The only difference is Lex has somewhat of a story in Subterranean, and actually, no, Lex has more of a story. Pretty much, Lex.
And at least it has a direction of the story. At least it has, even though it was sort of like Lex more of a filler episode.
Both those episodes landing like your balls in a handbag, essentially, because there's no episode really.
Static was more like 2 separate stories. Clark going off at his mission to fight one of the zoners.
And that was the better storyline, too.
Yeah, it had a better storyline, even though it was kind of like 2 separate doing his own thing. But we'll definitely get into that episode.
Yeah, let's get this one over with. Starting things off with season 6, episode 8, called Static.
There's a whole world of people out there, Clark. They need us.
Your blood must make you strong.
Sometimes even heroes need to be saved.
Someone else killed him. Someone can do things I can only dream of. Hey!
And the last 5 minutes will leave you breathless. Smallville, all new episode next Thursday on the new CW.
Lex is targeted by a former Bell Rev patient who can move through frequency, there it is, and who wants him to come clean about 33.1. Meanwhile, Clark goes to Seattle to hunt down one of the Phantom Zone escapees. We'll touch on who
Drax
that
the
is.
Destroyer. Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly. Yep. We'll touch on that in a minute. But of the 3 that we watch, we all can universally agree that this is the best of the 3. It's not saying much, but it's better than the other 2. In the race to the bottom, this one gets there third. I don't know. Of the episodes, this is the one that I like the most. Jacob, what do you think?
My biggest issue with this is, like, Clark had the better storyline. Like, Clark's B storyline. A storyline is Lex. Clark should have been the A storyline, and this should have been some shitty B storyline, because, like, he's fighting a zoner. That is the coolest shit ever. Instead, that's like a side plot in this episode. I'm like, why is that a side plot? Put that's the cooler thing.
Not to mention the zoner, like Jacob brought up, is played by Dave Bautista. At this time, he was in WWE. He was a big-time wrestler. He was the most recent world champion, but he actually had a triceps injury and he had to relinquish the title. But after his career would be over, he would go on to acting, Drax the Destroyer in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Do not ever call me at the source.
He was in Blade Runner 2049. He's been in Dune 1 and 2. So it's pretty safe to say Mr. Batista has been doing very well for himself. He was in Glass Onion, the Ryan Johnson movie. He's gonna be in this movie that honestly looks pretty good. It's this Hitman movie. I can't think of the title right now, but I
Yeah,
saw
I
the
know
I don't.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's when he's starting to die from brain cancer from a tumor
He
from
puts
his
a hit
brain.
on himself.
And he puts a hit on himself, but apparently the doctors found that they had the wrong fucking results. Apparently he was being played, and now they're still going to be going after him, and that was kind of an interesting premise. But yeah, but this was him coming off of his first acting experience on a show, Smallville. This was his first role ever. I mean, this was
Yeah,
around the time back in 2006 where WWE were one of the biggest hits with like John Cena. Even John Cena had a big leading role in his first movie back in 2006 in the same year for Smallville season 6, The Marine,
the
with
Marine.
he played the protagonist, his first leading role,
I own
and
that on Blu-ray.
the antagonist was Robert Patrick, which they both starred in the DC show Peacemaker.
The
I mean,
Marine
that's
is
ironic.
not the Marine is not like cinema, but it's a movie that's just so much
It's
fun.
still better
And
than it's still better than
it's a
Doom.
stupid dumb fun movie. That's what it really
Exactly.
is.
Yeah.
The reason why Dave Batista appears this season is because the WWE merged with the CW, and
Yeah.
so they were like, hey, they told the showrunners, hey, we want some actors from wrestling to appear in your show, and so they had literally to make up storylines for these WWE actors to appear. And Dave Batista, by the way, this season is not the only WWE actor to appear this season.
Oh no, it's not going
There's
to be the
another
only one.
famous one too.
You're gonna
Actor.
see at least two more famous WWE wrestlers in the upcoming this season.
Oh yeah, that episode too.
Which I thought the episode was fucking dope, and I can't wait to
That
really get
episode
into
is
that.
dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I will say that
we don't
episode
want to
is dope.
spoil anything. We don't want to give too much away.
Which, well, I will say, yeah, Dave Batista though, yeah, that's the whole reason why he's in this episode is because it's like, which I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm just sitting there thinking he was a lot better now than he was in 2006. I'm just watching, going, man, if Dave Batista could see himself now, he'd be like, I would do a lot more different things.
Denis Villeneuve has that effect on most people, but
Exactly. I mean, even though he was never like the greatest actor in the world, and he will literally tell you that in person, he
yeah.
literally admitted it. But at least he was working with great directors that gives off his strengths and hide the weaknesses. And he has been picking a lot of better roles, mostly out of all the WWE wrestlers that picked. Most of them has just been straight to fucking DVD movies.
I do have some issues with his character he plays. Like for one, you literally at the dock, and then all of a sudden, why do you just stay at the dock lurking around? Like I'm like, he really is just lurking around. Like, why would you just stay around? Why can't you just like go out in the city? You're free, go away, and just like instead it's just like Clark's. He's basically, I'm like, how come they haven't found him? Like, he's literally right behind the lamp.
Dude, and
Chris,
doesn't he have well, yeah, but doesn't he have X-ray vision to scope out the area instead of just walking around playing detective? Which I don't know how he's able to pull that off. It felt like the fucking writers of the show took notes
just forgot
from
Clark had X-ray
Supernatural.
vision
They
from
no,
Minnesota.
they took notes from Supernatural where he's impersonating a cop or something.
Yeah.
Clark pulls up in Apollo, gets out, making conversation with Chloe, and then wearing a nice coat. And then he literally talks about we're gonna kill some bastard.
But dude, he's wearing casual clothes, and somehow he's able to pull it off and get away with just holding out the badge.
Yeah, and also the guy, he's a standout, right? Clark is standing out because everybody else is dressed professionally. Clark walks around in a red jacket. I'm just saying, like,
they're like, yeah, hey kid, come on in.
Like, oh, you're a medical student, huh? Because you're wearing a red jacket. I'm just like,
you're wearing a red jacket and the
I would
blue
be like,
t-shirt.
who are you? Are you the
Like,
Coast Guard or
Like,
something?
who the hell are you? Show me your ID.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
only
like,
does
I
he
think
impersonate a cop, but he also impersonates a med student. Like he just casually walks into this tent, and this doctor is like, not even a hi, hello, who are you? Is like, are you my new med student? And he's like,
Yep.
What gave it
He was
away?
like, what?
It takes someone that smart to be that dumb.
I do like that he's hunting down zoners, but my issue is why would not like because whenever he puts the crystal up and the guy's like, I'm not a zoner. I'm in the.
Well, that's
I'm
because
I'm
he's
thinking,
not a phantom. That's his. Because
I
you got to
know.
remember when they were locked in the Phantom Zone, some of
Jarrell,
the Phantoms destroyed their body in their original form, and
yeah,
that's why they
I'm
became
like,
the Phantoms.
you would
and
think
possessed
that
the
would
body.
be the key
But
to go to the
Dave
Phantom
Batista
Zone.
is not a Phantom, so he
I
is in his
know.
original form. So that's why the crystal won't work for him.
You would think that would be the thing. It's like, okay, you're in the Phantom Zone, so they should just shove all the people would have to strip their bodies. You would think Jarrell would make sure that he would check that before you throw someone in the Phantom Zone. Like, okay, we're gonna make sure that there's Phantom Zoners that we take their body, we strip their vessel away, like how he did with Zod and how he did with Barry and everything. And Instead, he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw people in there. We'll figure it out. It ain't like we got to go back in there or they're gonna get out. So man, we're good. We're good.
No,
You know,
it's
it's
all
like
it's all
Jarrell's.
good.
Yeah, it's like, are you sure, Jarrell? You don't want to like strip this guy's body out? I mean, this dude, if he gets out, he's going to kill people like the Predator. Just rip out their spine. You know, he's literally
Yeah,
going to kill people.
the Beast storyline, that was literally more of a ripoff from Predator. The way he was ripping the spine off, that's exactly what the Predator did in the original movie. They literally took notes from Predator. This
like,
is a blockbuster notes that they took in the pitch meeting, mixture of Frequency and Predator.
And they said the villain has to look like Michael Douglas from Falling Down. Or
I've never
an
seen
evil Jehovah Witness.
I don't get that reference because I've never seen that movie.
Michael Douglas dresses like literally like that outfit. He wears them glasses and that outfit and carries around a machine gun.
Matt, in the edit, I'm going to put up a side by side of Michael Douglas from Falling Down and the 33.1 dude.
Escapees, meteor affected.
Yeah,
Just think of this, Matt, an evil Jehovah Witness.
yeah,
But also that actor who betrays it is not going to be the last time he plays a different character in the episodes of Smallville, but I can't tell you which one.
He does. No, he doesn't.
He'll play somebody else, but I can't say who.
Matt, text me who, because I'm like, I just want to see if I remember.
Oh.
I think I know.
I'll text you I'll text you which season.
I think is it season like 9 or 10?
I can't say it out loud, but I can not in front of Ryan.
Okay, all right, yeah, just text me that.
I want to shout out.
I will say,
I want to shout out the actor who plays our villain for this, Elias Toufexis. He's still going strong. He's
he was in The
actually
Walking Dead.
he was, and he's currently in Star Trek Discovery for Paramount Plus. So the dude he's been holding it down, and shout out to him.
You know, I was an idiot when I saw this because I thought that was the kid from The Sandlot, the fat kid from The Sandlot. I legit thought that was the fat kid from The Sandlot. Like, oh, he's got in great shape. Good for him.
Hamilton,
like
Porter,
Hamilton.
The fat kid, with the
he played Hamilton,
curly hair and
the red curly hair, the freckles.
Yeah, dude. I thought that was him. But I was like, oh, that's the fat kid from The Sandlot. When I was a kid, I thought I know it's not now, but at the time I was like, hey, he lost weight. Good for him. You know, I was like, good for him for being on Smallville. Good for him. And now I'm like, no, he does not look like that at all. He looks exactly the freaking same, like 40 freaking years later.
But in the early 2000s, I remember he was in that straight to DVD National Lampoon movie, and it was in Dorm Days, a movie, and he was in better shape back then than he was now.
He was also in a horror film called, like, I think, what was it? Some horror movie about a carnival, and like there's a serial killer in a carnival that kills 2 little girls. And
hang on, I'll look.
All he keeps talking about in the movie is porn. How he's a big porn fan, and he keeps quoting porn lines and porn like awards and everything. And every time he sees a naked picture, he goes, Miss December 2002. Yeah, that's a good year for porn. I'm just like, what's this dude like a porn encyclopedia?
Dude, what kind of a horror movie you watching, dude?
It was on Sci-Fi Channel too.
Oh, really?
It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. The dude literally was just like, it's like, I want to say it's like Dark Ride or something like that.
It's probably one of those shitty horror films that they just drop it on fucking DVD and then throw it into Sci-Fi Channel.
It was not bad. It was actually pretty creepy. Like, there is one scene where a guy's getting head and the girl gets her head cut off, and he still doesn't realize it, so he just go, give me a kiss, and he puts
I love in The Sandlot, he just casually drops the line of, you play ball like a girl.
You gotta love that. He's the trash mouth of the group.
That's what, like, remember when he does the mouth,
I love the part when he tries to psych I just love the part where he just tries to psych out the fucking players when they were playing ball against the other team.
If my dog was as ugly as you, I'd shave his butt and tell him to walk backwards.
It's been years since I watched that movie too.
I literally just watched it like a couple of days ago, and I
haven't watched that in like 10 years or 20 years.
It's been like 31 years since that movie came out, and it came out in like
I haven't watched it in like 15 years.
Dude, definitely go back and revisit that film. It still holds up.
I remember watching I keep forgetting because I watched The Sandlot 1 and 2 back to back.
I understand that the sequels were not the best. They were not great. I mean, I had a soft spot for the second one, even though it's not a great movie at all. But it's literally more of the same movie, just in a different time period.
In part 2, when they're recapping what they're going to do in the future, they show this black kid and they go, he was abducted by aliens and never seen again.
Yeah, Tarkel.
Like,
yeah, the
well, that's
Tarkel.
fucking dark.
The hippie kid. Yeah, he was the hippie kid, and he
was
like, hey,
abducted by aliens.
they went so dark. It was like, what? He was abducted by aliens? Are you kidding me?
wait, go
I
back.
never thought that was so dark. That was way more dark than the other kid that said he got stuck in the 60s and no one ever saw him again. I'm like, huh?
The kid must have run into Kurt Russell from Fire in the Sky or something.
It's like that's like saying,
wait, Kurt Russell was in Fire in the Sky? I don't remember that.
Wait, not Kurt Russell?
Well, he said Kurt Russell. I was like, wait, Kurt Russell's not in Fire in the
All
Sky.
right, I'm gonna need to fact check myself. Hang on.
I'm like, so what's?
I think you might be talking about The Thing, or maybe the Fire in the Sky with Robert Patrick, the one that you're talking about.
Yep, I was wrong. That Robert Patrick. That's what I meant.
My thing is this. Okay, my thing is Lex Luthor must have tortured him with the movie Frequency. And he must have literally been a Michael Douglas fan from Falling Down because he's dressed like Michael Douglas. He's like dressed like he belongs in the 60s. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
like, he is crazy, but I don't blame him at the same time. But he wasn't delusional or crazy that everyone keeps thinking he is, that he was an escaped Belle Reed. But no, he was a lab experiment from 33.1 that Lex is using all these mutant freaks and rounding them up in the lab. And we're going to know why he's doing it.
Legit, my favorite scene of any of these 3 episodes was at the very end, where Lex rebuilds 33.1 and in Subterranean.
Yeah, it was in Subterranean at the end of the one that we will get into.
Yeah, come on.
But also, but Lionel moved that lab when the lab got got empty.
Lionel says, "Oh, I moved it."
So the question is, Ryan, what do you think his intentions wanted to know about 33.1, why he wants to partner up with Lex?
I think Lionel wants in.
Yeah, he wants in, and we're like, what's his agenda and all this?
I just think it's funny that the bad guy used a Pleasantville style thing to suck Lex into another dimension.
Yeah, in a static. And also, this is the episode where now Clark does not save the day in this A storyline. Jimmy Olsen is the one who saves the day.
Yeah, and then Clark gets saved himself by a dude who has a thing for Oreos and has big glowing eyes. I asked
and he
Jake,
flies, and he flies.
And he flies, and he has red eyes.
I asked Collins who it was, and he said he's not going to tell me. So
you'll find out. You'll find out.
You will find out in a few episodes later. It won't be that far off. But right now, they do cast that actor that will play that character that will play a part.
But yeah, that was a CGI character.
But right now, no, that was not a CGI. That was just a body double that they use in the shadow, and because they didn't cast the actor.
Look like the actor that they cast.
It looks nothing like him when you look back on it now, because at the time they didn't cast him.
They used a black bald dude, and you're like, that's not.
Yeah, he's just a black bald dude in the shadow, and that hit a body double.
I texted Collins. I said, "Is this Martian Manhunter?" And his laugh was similar to the J. Jonah Jameson laugh from Spider-Man 2.
You serious?
You serious?
You're serious?
But let's talk about the Lex stuff, which is significantly less interesting than what Clark is going through here. Like again, it's the ripoff of Frequency. He's stuck in between the two. And he's like, Lana, hello.
And Dennis Quaid and Jim
it's not like the frequency. The frequency was more about communicating from the past and the future, present day time. But this one, he's just trapped into a static dimension in a different frequency.
Which it makes no sense how Jimmy knows how to do all this shit.
Also, he has all that fucking retro tech that his dad kept in the basement. Like, what the hell?
Like, they literally made Jimmy Jim Caviezel on Frequency. They literally just like, okay, we need a nerd who can do this shit besides Chloe. Jimmy. All right.
Since we don't have Clark save the day, let's have Jimmy to be the savior of this episode.
By the way, but would it make sense if Clark was the one who was sitting there with the frequency?
Yeah, it would have made a little bit more sense if it was Clark coming in, but
No, what I'm saying, would it made sense? That would not have made sense. Clark's like,
there's no way. What could he have done? What could he have done?
I mean, really, that there's literally nothing unless Clark, they zap Clark into another dimension and Clark just goes, throws him away. It's that Clark's literally done nothing in this episode. He has nothing to do with the A plot.
But also, he got overpowered by that sonar. He was a lot more stronger than him, and he would have been done for.
Oh, that dude was about to rip his spine out, and then all of a sudden
he was doing his WWE move where he just breaks his fucking back and rip his spine out.
Yeah, and what I liked is like whenever that person,
that thing, the stranger.
I almost said the person.
We'll just call him the stranger. We're calling him the stranger.
I almost said the person. I was like,
I know you almost slipped that. You almost had that slip. No, we would
Like,
have done that horrible boss style, like caw, caw, caw.
yeah, but I do like that. Yeah, like whenever like all of a sudden he's eating a chocolate chip cookie, like an Oreo cookie.
Yeah, it was an
And I
Oreo
like how he
cookie.
puts the hand on the guy and kills him. You know, because he was gonna kill Clark. I mean, you know, and I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
he
what
would have
really
been
worked.
done. I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, was he just more stronger than him, or maybe he was just pulling his punches. I
No,
don't
Clark
know.
he was going to kill him. I mean,
No,
it,
no,
like
he
it,
was. Yeah, he was gonna kill him. He would have been done for, dude.
like that guy saved his life. That man saved his life, and that right there, and Clark was about to die.
And
I
he was
guess I
just,
like
and
how
he was
Clark,
just
since he was
confused,
super
like whose
speed.
side is he on? Like who is the stranger?
Yeah, the stranger was just like, I mean, and I can't wait to see who it is because you will
I can't
love
wait to
it,
see his
Ryan.
reaction to see who it is.
The thing that got me was that like they literally had like an Oreo there. It wasn't like generic like fudge cream cookie. It was literally the Oreo was printed on the cookie. I'm just saying if Nabisco
You
didn't
think
come in
It
there with
must
an
be the
Oreos
Oreo is a
shit.
product placement. An Oreo.
also, I mean, like there's a Sprint phone on there. Like I saw
Yeah.
whenever somebody was doing
Yeah,
a
they
phone
did
call.
had a Sprint phone.
I'm like,
They had
Sprint must
Dell,
have sponsored this episode tonight.
and now it brought to you by Dell.
And,
Brought to you
and
by
I, like
Sprint.
I remember seeing Sprint and like my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my God, this was like the days when I was
Like
watching
didn't
NASCAR
it,
footage.
didn't this guy that who did Can You Hear Me Now from Verizon switch it over to Sprint
I think so,
or
yes.
T-Mobile
Can you
or
hear me
something?
now? Yeah.
It
Can you
was
hear
the
me
other
now?
way.
God, it was such a great commercial.
Really,
Like
we didn't
very
need Clark
catchphrase.
in this
Very
episode. We needed
catchy.
the Sprint guy to come in and help save the
Yeah,
day.
just get the Sprint guy come in and save the day from Lex.
Like,
Get the
But
Sprint dude.
but the very end of this
And he
episode,
would no, I dare you, if he actually was the one saving the day, he would have
I
said
also
the
like
thing.
that.
He would
Like,
have said the thing. Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Good.
I also do like how how Lionel and Chloe have the scene where Chloe's trying to hack into Lex's phone. I do like that Lex is actually this. I like how this portrays Lex as a hero almost. Like it's the only time in the season where Lex is not portrayed as a villain. He's
yeah.
portrayed as a
He's
neutral
more
person.
he's more the victim in this episode. Jimmy was more the hero in
Because you
this.
feel like okay, like every episode this
If
season,
it weren't
like
for his
I'm
frequency
an
of his
asshole.
machine, they would have been trapped in there forever. Even if he killed the guy, he wouldn't have done anything.
Also, why wouldn't the falling down guy just take Lana instead of Lex? Lex would be more likely to give up what 33.1 is if like
Yeah, instead of just like that should have been the reverse. He should have taken Lana instead. I completely agree. That would have made more sense for the story.
But the very end of the episode, we see Lex pop the question, and we don't see the answer until the next week. But let's just say that old Lex got blocked. Let's just say.
And
Poor
also,
Lex.
how can Lana be this more gullible and stupid in this episode?
What? Oh my God.
She does not. She still thinks that guy was delusional, and Chloe was second guessing that like this guy may not be crazy, and she just blindly believes anything that Lex says. I'm like,
but because she's in love, okay? She knows
love has blinded her.
She wants to put our mouth on that bald head and hut to him.
Yeah, his bald little cue ball.
She wants to hut 2 legs and spit on that thing.
He gets especially bad in Hydro, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But let's wrap things up on let's wrap what did I say?
No, it's not you. It's him who's made it weird with that sexual spit on. Like
I said the hot tooth thing. I said must the hot 2 legs and spit on that thing.
Oh, you did.
What the hell?
I
What
thought I
in
was
the-
hearing things.
By the way, if you have not seen that clip, Ryan, put the clip in for context, okay?
You gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
Yeah, that's a year from now when someone watches this, they're gonna be like, "What's a hawk tula?"
Like we'll put the clip.
No,
like,
I understand that. The Hakatool.
By the way, I saw a shirt the other day that said "Hawk 2 for President 2024." Spit on that thing.
I'd vote for that, but anyway, Jacob, 1 to 10 for
That
static.
thing's younger than our current presidents.
A lot of things are younger than our current president.
I mean, hell, the Smallville is younger.
The T-Rex from Jurassic Park is younger than that man. But Jacob, go 1 to 10.
We're not being political. We're just making jokes.
Yeah.
Okay. But basically, so basically, if I had to give this a score out of 10, I would say it's about 7 out of 6. 6 out of 10. 6.
All right, Matt. What about you?
I'm gonna give them going a little higher and going a little bit of 7. Not perfect, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
I was like, I just think that if Clark would have had the A storyline and then the frequency shit would have been the B storyline,
It
I
should
would
have
have been
been
fine.
it should have been the other way around, but his storyline was a lot more shorter than the A storyline with Lex.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna side with Collins. I'm gonna go 6. This was not particularly bad per se. It was just fine. But I agree with Collins when he said like Clark should have been A, Lex should have been B. It should have been reversed. But that's not what ended up happening. But now let's go from the penthouse to the outhouse when it comes to the 3 episodes we're talking about. Let's talk about season 6, episode 9, called Subterranean.
Luther Corp is experimenting on people with abilities.
That farm is like a graveyard. There's bodies buried everywhere.
Everyone who tried to run has disappeared. What's that? The man could be anywhere.
Then I suggest you start digging.
Smallville, all new episode next Thursday on the new CW.
An illegal immigrant from the McNally farm seeks Clark's help. He then uncovers a sinister secret in the farmer's cornfield, which has been hidden since the last meteor shower. Yeah, this episode's not good, y'all. It's basically...
It's a PSA on George Bush's immigration policy in 2006.
Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning?
That's really what it is. It's basically saying, you get it? You get it? We don't like George W. Bush. You get it? Okay? This is us saying, fuck you, George Bush.
And let me just be clear, this episode did not come out in 2016. This came out in 2006.
2006. So they're like, there's no reason to do this episode even. There was no election or nothing. It was just literally like George Bush was literally just like he already won as the presidential second term. I don't understand why this is like. I guess maybe that I don't know. I don't understand why this.
But also, it's a metaphor that Clark is also an immigrant. He is an alien immigrant as well.
I don't know. Maybe if they did something, you know,
because if like, hey, if it would have been like like you gotta remember, like Martha was all about doing everything by the book. And he literally just called her out. Like, was it legal when you forged my adoption papers? I'm an illegal immigrant too. You harbored me since day one. You already broke the law. I did like that idea. I did like the whole
Lex
idea.
Lex has nothing, by the way, to do in this episode. Lex has nothing to do in this episode.
Yeah, well, he kind of had part to play of this whole slave labor.
But they forced that.
He was part of that slave labor, and then he used that meteor infected to round him up in 33.1.
I mean, I will say the ending was the only thing I liked, but I mean, there are things I do like in this episode. Like I like that we get to introduce they introduced the new sheriff in this episode.
Well, I thought he was the I could have sworn he was the deputy.
Wasn't he the sheriff? I thought he was the sheriff because
I thought he was the I think he was the deputy because I heard him say deputy.
Well, then who the fuck's the sheriff now?
We still. I don't think they'll ever touch on it.
They never touch on that again. I'm like, oh, he's the sheriff now. Oh yeah, but now you're right. I guess they have an unnamed sheriff. Yo, those Kents, man, he says, man, let me tell you something, Mr. Kent. I know you're somehow involved with all of these migrants. I'm telling you right now, Mr. Kent. I'm going to tell you, if I find out, I'm going to take your whole farm away from you. As she would try to accuse him of being like a slave trader.
You'll be on ice with ice, Mr. Kent. But according to IMDb, Mr. Morales is a deputy, not a sheriff. So
which makes no freaking sense either, because it's like he literally is running the investigation, and they're like, "Oh, the sheriff's going to come talk to you."
Yeah, I really think the sheriff was the one who leads the investigation, not the deputy.
Yeah, I really think he's the sheriff, but then Clark, the writers just forgot to call him deputy, and they were like, "Oh shit." I mean, I don't know. This whole episode's fucked up. So.
But also, Tyler Posey was like before. This is before he did Teen Wolf when he got a leading role.
Yeah,
but Jacob, let him know about this this character, how he learned English. Let the people know.
He watched TV.
He watched American TV,
and he learned how to speak perfect, unbroken English. And I'm just like, that'd be like if Wonder Gal Gadot said how she learned to speak English, and she come out and started speaking like perfect, unbroken English, and was like, I watched MTV a lot. And she was like, she doesn't have no accent whatsoever. I mean, that's how stupid that would be sound.
Yeah, that it didn't really make any sense of how he spoke English so well. A guy who's from Mexico and never raised in America before, and somehow he was able to learn English so quickly by watching American TV.
And I actually thought at first he was white because I'm like, isn't he like a white? His dad, I know his dad's white. Isn't he white? But then it turns out we checked him. Like, no, he's not. He's
Yeah, I had to be the
Mexican.
one to fact check it because he called it out before we.
I actually said, I was like, don't they have a why do they have a white kid?
I was like, I had to fact check it just to be sure. It's like, no, he's not white.
It turns out I did get that wrong. I was like to the break, like, why they got a white kid? Like, couldn't like, and then and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna say the other part. I was just gonna, but yeah, but but I was gonna say.
Shout out to Tyler Posey, who does play the young man here. He would go on to be Scott McCall in the Teen Wolf series for MTV. He would be in Truth or Dare from Blumhouse. Hey, not every swings.
Also in
I didn't even see Truth or Dare. I watched the hilariosity review that fucking Chris Stuckman did on it, and I was like, oh my god, it's so much worse than I imagined. It's
Back
so
when
bad.
Back
This
when
was
Chris
it felt like
Stuckman
if you watch the movie Smile, they kind of literally took that idea from Truth or Dare and except it's a better movie.
That's a story for a whole other time, but Smile did the concept of Truth or Dare a whole lot better. Smile
My
2
issue with this episode.
And also, I do like Tyler Posey as an actor, and I think what he did in Teen Wolf was great. He's a really good actor and very charismatic. But I thought the Teen Wolf was such an underrated show at the time when it came on.
It's an actual. I understand they're in Vancouver and they can't really like the only Mexican actors they have is like one is the sheriff, and then the other two are other actors that they don't like. They're like, well,
they're mostly extras.
Yeah, mostly extras, and they're like, well, we don't really have a Mexican actor. The only one we have is the actor playing the sheriff, and he would not pass for a 12-year-old boy. So it's like, yeah, so they're like, well, what do we do? Well, we'll just cast the first kid that has a Mexican background. And then they cast the kid from Teen Wolf. And they're like, do you speak any Spanish? That's what he goes, no. And they're like, we'll make something up. Just say he watched a lot of MTV, and that's how. And he's like, yeah, I watched a lot. Which makes no sense.
By that logic, the kid comes across as Mexican as Taco Bell. Crunchwrap Supreme Jones. Well,
I'm just saying, like, that to me was the dumbest excuse. Like, I watched a lot of MTV. That's like literally saying, like, oh, he says, like, that'd be like saying, you know why? He says that'd be like saying, who's a really good black man? Robert Downey Jr. Because he played Kirk Lazarus in Tropic Thunder. You're like, he said, that'd be like if you're he's so Mexican that literally Robert Downey Jr. That's like saying Robert Downey Jr. He's so Mexican, Robert Downey Jr. is so black. Okay, that makes no freaking sense whatsoever. Like he's
also,
like,
if no one's going to bring this up, I will. The villain of this episode is basically the Underminer from The Incredibles.
And also the villain also basically is like a ripoff of Tremors as well.
Oh yeah, Tremors. Yeah, that makes
except he's not a sandworm. He's like the human sandworm.
It's almost like Miller and Goff watched like The Incredibles and they watched the Tremors and said,
"Oh, there you go."
And then they were watching the CNN. They watched CNN. They watched the Tremors, and then they watched The Incredibles. Like, I think we got a good episode this week. And they're like, and then the writers are like, "What? You want to do an anti-immigration episode with Tremors?" That shit does not go together. I'm sorry. I will say.
They would have if this were to come out today, they would have said, "Oh my god, it's woke, it's anti like immigration."
Oh yeah, there'd be 50 different channels, YouTube channels going. Oh, Nerdotic would do an episode of this saying, "Oh, when Smallville went woke." And
they would have gotten the blowback if they were to come out today. If they had like YouTube
Geeks and Gamers would be like, Smallville went woke.
Smallville went woke. Tyrone Magnus went woke.
I mean, I'm just saying.
1 million subscribers.
I can just imagine all of the thumbnails for those. Like,
God, you can imagine that a lot. You try calling them out on their bullshit, and you're like, well, there's an exception. No, there is not an exception. You would have fucking said that now today if that.
The thumbnail would have been a picture of Tyler Posey, the picture of Tyler Posey like this, and sitting at the table, and then Superman with a Mexican flag where his chest is, and Clark doing this, and then Lex is like wearing a MAGA hat. That guaranteed that would have been.
Oh god, that would have been. It would have been crazy.
That would have literally been. Or it would have been a Bush. Sorry, 2006. It would have been a Bush Cheney hat. Sorry.
Oh yeah, it would have. It would have done. It would have happened if we did have that social media and mainstream YouTube content and stuff. That would have been a big thing if that word exists back in the day. But they were able to get away. But they were able to get away with it.
I
I
don't
will
want to go
say,
too deep into the weeds on this particular topic, but social media has done very good things for me. It's introduced me to these two mooks here, but I
It's a blessing and a curse. That's all we can say.
I miss
I
the
mean,
days
like,
where I'm like
here,
not thinking about it all the time.
look, here's the thing. You can have an opinion online, but
Mhm.
here's the thing. If somebody else has an opinion that's not your opinion, the best thing to do is don't try to bash or trash those people. Just live your life. You have, like, look, for instance,
Ignore it.
Yeah, just ignore it.
we all have us three have different opinions on movies. This
Mhm.
dude Ryan Camp does not like The Last Jedi. I like Last Jedi, and me and Ryan Camp's not doing a video about how he hates Last Jedi, and how I'm an idiot for liking The Last Jedi. You know, Matt likes doesn't like likes what term likes the other Terminator movies that aren't Terminator 1 and 2. I don't do videos and explaining why how Matt wrong Matt is. No, I'm
Mhm.
joking about that. Matt does
But
not like
it's
Terminator
also
series.
just like have a civilized conversation and have a back and forth and constructive with your criticism. But if you're going to throw that political agenda topic
Yeah.
garbage as your excuse for critique, that's just you being an asshole. That's not being really constructive
Yeah.
criticism.
I like Kenobi. I love the Kenobi show, and I know there's people that do not like Kenobi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, who gives a fuck if they want to sit there and
Yeah,
bash
it's like
me
how
for
does that
liking
like
Kenobi?
here's the thing, why should you care about these big popular content creators who always spread hate? How does that affect you as a
Because you know
viewer?
why? Because Rage Clips gets more views. That's why.
Yeah, exactly, because they know that they're going to call them out on their social media
If
page,
we were doing
and
a
they know
podcast
and
right
they know
now
that they're going to
ranting
get big
about
hits
the
for that.
Acolyte, we would be getting thousands of views. But the fact is, we're not. We're here doing what we love about Smallville. And you
Yeah.
know, look, we do not like this episode. We do not like this episode.
Yeah, if we
Guess
don't
what?
like
We're
if
not
this is
going
an
to do
episode,
an episode about
yeah,
how wrong the writers
but also
are.
we'll be honest and say, hey, if we don't like something, we'll be vocal about it, but we're not gonna like rage about it, like
We're
going
not going to
fucking
bash the
nuts.
showrunners, the writers. We're not going to bash the actors. Although we kind of are telling like we think it's dumb if they made the actor like saying like speak perfect English and go like, yeah, I watched MTV. We're bashing like the idea behind like some of the creative
The
points
writing,
about it.
the way that they've written the episode.
Like but I will say I do think there are some good things. Like whenever they find all the dead immigrants, that was cool. And Brian Jeepers Creepers in a way because you just see a bunch of dead immigrants there, and I'm like, that is horrific.
That was
For
a
a
horror.
TV
That was
show,
Jeepers Creepers right there. That the way
for a
that
TV show
the
and dead bodies all
underground
over.
these corpses, the bunch of corpse. Oh my god, that was so graphic too.
I know.
Yeah, that was another moment where it was like the CW said yes to this.
They were able to get away with it back then. They couldn't do it now.
I mean, nowadays they would just probably put them if they had that idea. They would say you would just see the EMT pulling the bodies, like you would just see them have the bodies in like a blanket and then pulling them onto the ambulance. You wouldn't see like that.
I mean,
until,
they
like,
were able to get away with that graphic stuff as much as they could on the network, as long as
By
they
the
could.
way, did you see like the deputy guy or whatever, the sheriff or deputy?
Yeah.
Go up to the one of them and put his pulse, see if they have a pulse. And I'm like, they've been in the ground for. They just dug the person up.
Like, what did you? Oh yeah, you're gonna check to see if he's alive, dude. They've been buried underground and suffocated. They were already dead.
Maybe
you
he
had to check their pulses.
Maybe he
reminded me. You know what this reminded me of? What? You know what this reminded me of? Hannibal. The Hannibal episode we just watched a couple weeks ago, the one where they dig up the bodies in the dirt. That reminded me of this.
Yeah,
it feels like the showrunners Hannibal were like, watch this episode. And like, we can make this dark.
No, Hannibal. Yeah, the showrunners from Hannibal. They took notes from it.
Which we will have some episodes coming up on Hannibal soon.
Yeah, I'm really. We've been a little bit on the hiatus for Hannibal show.
Yeah, which we're working on it. Yeah, it's just we've been schedule wise. We're trying, but yeah, and there are episodes. We are still Hannibal Rising is still coming out, soon on for Talking Silence, and so is the first 3 episodes. Ryan's just getting it ready because he wants
and also like I had to subscribe to AMC Plus to watch the show.
AMC Plus.
Yeah, you have to have AMC Plus to watch the show.
It's on.
I own the movie. I own it.
Yeah, it is on Prime. If you're you can because you can also subscribe to others' content through Prime, like AMC Plus, Stars, HBO Max, and all that stuff. It's one of those.
I just watch it because I own the 3 seasons. So, but I will say Smallville. I do like the idea how the villain like is just like a trimmer, like how. I think when I said, I'm like, you could tell this was they were on a network television because they were like, when he's in there trying to come up with a racist term, he just calls them potato pickers. And I'm like, that is the most,
I've never heard someone that was like the most racist shit I've ever heard.
I'm like, that is the most like childish. I understand you can't say, I'm sure they probably had a racist term for him to say. But
they couldn't say in the other terms.
You cannot say a racist term on a network. And I'm glad they didn't, but at the same time, I'm just thinking, I've never heard of a Mexican person, and I live in the South. Okay. I've never heard of someone refer. I've heard lots of disgusting things referred to Mexican people, and it's really disgusting.
Yeah.
But I've never once heard someone refer to them as potato pickers. I've never in my life heard that.
Like
Ever.
when I first heard that, my immediate thought was like, are the immigrants Irish? Like what
Never Irish.
Irish.
Those fucking leprechaun Lucky Charm eating motherfuckers.
There always have to be Lucky Charms.
Oh yeah,
Those motherfuckers will have to be Lucky Charms, fuckers.
It'd just be a bunch of, that would make the episode more funnier because then it'd be like, oh, look at you now, Clark. Oh, we have to go out of here. I have to go. Clark. He goes on. He says,
Clark, run. They're
we have to get out of here, Clark. They might take our lives, but they're gonna take our freedom.
Braveheart is Scottish, Jacob, but okay.
He's Scottish, not
no.
Since you brought it up, that Scottish mistaken from Irish. There's a line in Supernatural where Bobby says it's Scottish. Einstein.
By the way, the sad thing is I'm also part Irish too. That's like the white side.
Yeah, I am part
Irish
too.
And when my beard grows, that turns red, and so it's like, and so the sad thing is I'm just laughing because I'm just thinking, just fucked up my heritage. Oh, my grandfather's rolling his grave right now.
I'm part Scottish, and whenever Drew McIntyre hits someone with the Claymore kick, I'm like, my man. But
isn't Conor McGregor Scottish?
No, he's Irish.
But right, he's on my side. But anyway,
we've gotta get to Hydro at some point. So
okay, but yeah. I just never be the.
We're just stalling so much time to talk about that atrocious episode.
You imagine? But can you just imagine though if you find they were to dig up the bodies and they'll just find a bunch of Irish people had green hats on with 4-leaf clovers,
bunch of hornswoggles just sitting there,
bunch of beard, a bunch of fat Slav with red beards, and you're just like, it would just be like, okay, the fucking Irish, those potato pickers, leprechaun eating.
Finds a can, picks it up. Guinness.
We gotta go. And then he's like, run. Clark, I can't. I already had some Guinness today. I had a haggis too, Clark. And he says, oh, but no, I'm sorry. But yeah, I will say the only thing my dislikes, but I will say Jimmy and
Jimmy was hilarious that he was trying to, he didn't even know he could speak English so well and he just got duped. He thought he was trying to speak enunciate a lot. And it just completely pulled a 180.
Also, it's really dumb how Jet escapes. Hell, he just pushes the cop and goes, oh, and then goes in the ground. I'm just like, fuck.
I know, that was so stupid.
Also,
the way he escaped from the cops, just all you got to do is elbow him, and then he just escapes from the whole.
I will say, I did like at the end how like when Jed's in the 33.1 and Lex is walking like a badass, that music playing.
It's playing the AFI song.
Yeah,
Prelude. I think that's what it's called.
It's got like it's actually on my running playlist. It's an incredible song.
I'm just laughing about when you said, "Are the Irish in this episode?" The Irish.
Yeah, the song is called Prelude 1221.
Yeah, that's the song, and
if we ever start war with Ireland, we're fucked on potato French fries. We're just fucked because we won't get no potatoes anymore.
We grow potatoes here.
Yeah, but the Irish they're like our main supplier for potato seeds and all that.
Someone call Matt Damon. We need his shit for unspecified reasons.
We need shit potatoes.
Mr.
Growing on Mars.
But we do need to get to Hydro though, so let's close things out here, Jacob. 1 to 10.
5 out of 10.
All right, Matt. What about you?
I'm gonna give it a 6. It was okay.
6. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, you gave that gift a freaking Christmas present, Matt.
You gave the gift a Christmas present. But
Merry Christmas.
I'm going to go.
I would give it a 7 if they were Irish.
Oh boy.
That would make me laugh.
I'm gonna go I'm gonna go 4 out of 10. If the immigrants were Scottish, I would have gone 8, but they
I'm just saying that the showrunners, that right there would have been and not an anti-immigration. That would have been like, we don't know where the fuck they went with this episode. Just like we have people with red beards running around. Warwick Davis is in this episode for some reason.
So I'm going 4 out of 10. This was a not fun watch. Good things and a good ending, but everything else was just kind of.
And also, Lana got dumber again.
At least she
It
said
gets.
yes.
Oh
Believe,
my God.
believe
Oh,
me,
Jesus.
it gets worse.
Every time that comes out of her mouth at the end of that episode, I'm like, what the fuck are you, stupid?
God bless Christian Croy, really,
I
but
love the actress. I love her to death, but her
hate that
character got dumber in this show.
yeah, but let's we are at that point. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. This is season 6, episode 10, called Hydro.
Tori Spelling on Smallville.
Nobody likes an overachiever.
Smallville, Thursday, January 11th on the new CW.
The Daily Planet's gossip queen, Linda Lake, uses her ability to transform herself into water because her last name is Lake, you see, to find the dirt on people and run her weekly saucy story, however detrimental for them. After bringing out baseball star Mike Dawson is doped because this came out in 2006 and Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, and Jose Canseco were on the drugs, you see. Lake drags him into a fountain pond staging a suicide, which Jimmy Olsen convinces Chloe can't be true. Next, Linda overhears Chloe and Lana about her doubts to accept Lex's marriage proposal because she is not quite over Clark and prints it to Lex's despair and making Clark realize he's not quite over Lana either because apparently this is season fucking 2 of this show.
I mean, seriously, literally, he's like, okay, I'm gonna marry. Like, you don't want to marry him. Oh, I want to marry him. Oh, now I'm the baby daddy of this, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
And also, Lana says, if I were to say, if Clark were to propose, I would say yes without hesitating. Motherfucker, I remember in the last season when he proposed to you, you hesitated for a moment.
Yeah, in the
What are you
words of
talking about?
In the words of Maury Povich, the lie detector determined that was a lie. Lex promises Linda any price to find something against Clark, and Chloe has a hard time keeping his being Kryptonian secret.
But one thing that really bugged me, like they said that they were reporting this baseball player as a suicide, and we know that Jimmy would think it was all bullshit. You cannot drown yourself in a suicide like that. If you want a suicide, you be a little bit more dramatic than that.
Matt, I need to finish, please.
Can I finish? Please, can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
And Chloe has a heart. Oh, fuck, I lost my place. Here. While it makes her furious that people tells her their secrets while complaining when refused another secret. When Lois tells Clark she suspects Oliver of being the Green Arrow after seeing he has an arm wound at the same spot, he wants him to be innocent either way. He finds an original way to help both friends while she gets Jimmy to help her set a trap for Oliver. Lex is prepared to wait for his pregnant lover. So this episode sucks dick through a coffee straw.
Yeah, this episode, I do agree with Matt when he's saying, how do you commit suicide? You just gotta jump in a puddle and going, I'm dying. He just lays in a space going, like, I'm gonna commit suicide. No, I just thought that was so dumb. That was so dumb. Also, I do like Linda Lake as a villain. Like, I like how it's like an anti like Lois Lane in a way. Like although in which I know, yes, it is stupid that her name is Linda Lake and she kills people with water. You know, but I mean, if you could think about it, look at Mr. Freeze. His name.
She can transform. No, she can transform into water.
Yeah. I mean, look at Mr. Freeze. His name is Victor Freeze.
But also, you're reporting on gossip if somehow you able to know word for word, but without any concrete proof that they even said any of those things. Just write down in the fucking newspaper and everybody believes it.
Wouldn't she get sued for slander because she can't prove these things even if she hears it?
No, it's
not like she has a tape recorder hearing it.
She never had, like, you didn't have a tape recorder.
But no, this is like that. This is like, okay, that'd be like, I mean, you're saying horrific. She's saying like, okay, about when you were talking about the steroids thing just now.
Yeah,
they're saying about the steroids thing. She's going around if you're going around telling, like hearing stuff, like if I hear somebody and they say something horrific, and then I just go and write an article about it, that doesn't make it true unless you have proof. Okay, I mean, it's a limbo.
And also, like, you would need to give him a urine test or get him to confess in order to get proof. But she had no proof. And they just literally, they just literally just believed everything that she says in the article. And especially, you're writing a fucking story on a random couple. What is that? That's not a big news. Like, who gives a shit about that? Their whole marriage life. Like, because that's something to do with Lex.
And apparently, this affects Lex and Lana. I'm like, this is just. I feel like this is just.
It's like I'm gonna report this. I'm gonna publish this that your friend is an alien. That's just like now you're just fucking more of a tabloid journalist.
She's basically the National Enquirer, or basically she's. You know who that I'm gonna sound old for saying this, but you remember Perez Hilton?
I don't think
He's that
so.
guy that had that blog site that you would go around putting trashing celebrities and stuff. Perez Hilton.
Never heard of him.
He used to be like a big gossiper like back in like 2014 or 2008 or 9 or whatever. Years ago. I mean, that's why I said on old. You're like, I don't remember who that is.
Yeah. I never heard of him. But also, yeah, now she's just reporting a bunch of gossip and somehow they believe it and they prove it to true when she has zero proof. What? Because also, she was there that eavesdropped.
You know how I know this episode sucked. The opening shot is from The Batman Begins.
Oh yeah,
they've done it many times. Oh yeah, they've done it several times. They took those stock footage from Batman Begins from the Gotham City shot. Did she say that she had a good view in Gotham? She didn't. She did put out the name Gotham.
I will say Lex dropping baby bomb on Clark. I thought that was pretty good. How Clark
that was like a rubbing in your face to Clark.
Lex
like I highly doubt she says no. She's carrying my child. In your face.
Yeah, she hucked to me, Clark.
She hucked to me.
No, she hucked to it, and then he wouldn't have a baby right now.
Yeah. But don't you think that was kind of a little bit suspicious that it's suspicious that she's pregnant all of a sudden because even though before that she had doubts of being in a relationship with Lex.
I will say I don't like the Lex Clark love triangle.
It's stupid.
Between like Quan. I thought that was so stupid.
It's so annoying. That's just one I hate about the season.
This is what makes the season. And then they just to rub it in your face. They put the frickin' on the poster too of season 6, where it's literally if you put the Blu-ray cover, it's Lex holding Lana and Clark's like this.
We literally had like the fucking thumbnail on for the video.
I hate that cover because it just pisses me off because I'm like I
wish we had a better like fucking season 6 poster, but apparently we don't. That was like
I like the cover for season 6, but
the cover was kind of lazy a little bit. It was like fucking like so Photoshop because most of them don't do photo shoots for the cast members for that show.
Yeah, exactly. It just like I said, you all warned me about something like making me mad like in this season. Is this the thing that you all were?
Yes.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about.
The Lex Lana Lana being pregnant. Lana. Oh, wait till you get to the wedding episode.
Is gonna get. That wedding episode is gonna get.
That episode pisses me off because it goes everybody's perspective, like in that movie, The Last Duel.
Oh no.
That was like this is more like a Tarantino style, where they're showing different points of view of the
Lex's
character.
Point of view of the wedding day, Clark's point of view of the wedding day, Lana's point of view of the wedding day, and I'm just like, I do not care. I do not care.
Like, why are we dragging this out in this fucking stupid bullshit love triangle drama? I don't care about that.
I will say Lois going to Clark about all the stuff I did like in this episode. Lois going to Clark about Oliver, and Clark thinking at first it's about him.
That was the interesting part of this episode.
Then Clark and then Clark dressing up like the Green Arrow, and then kissing Lois, and then smiling. She slaps him.
Oh come on! She slapped him, but he enjoyed the kiss. You saw the smile when he took his hood off and his sunglasses. You saw the little smile on him.
I also like Chloe's.
But also she completely dissed Oliver of the kissing thing. He's like she literally said that the Green Arrow can teach him a thing or two.
Also Chloe smashing the camera because Linda's about to reveal Clark's secret. And she smashes the camera.
She smashed the laptop, yeah.
I thought that was really good, and I thought Chloe versus Linda Lake was pretty good. I thought that was a whole great thing.
Yeah, we had a cat fight.
Yeah, in the opening, I also think, those are some good things about this episode. The things I do not like Chloe dressing up in a trench coat like she's an undercover cop. Like literally, she wears that trench coat up there when like Lana's meeting for coffee. She walks up in a trench coat like Brew from Despicable.
And also, they
Me.
have a high resolution on the webcam back in 2006 technology.
2007. This episode came out
Oh
January.
yeah, it's you know what I mean because they filmed this episode like prior to its release.
Okay,
But
yeah.
it's
Fair enough.
it's an old school mid 2000 webcam. When we know back in the day when we lived it, it was a shitty resolution.
You know, Chloe wearing Columbo's trench coat was not on my bingo card for this season.
But also that Linda Lake, the actress, the Tori Spelling, she was coming off of the popular hit show of a soap opera, 90210.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just did not like this character whatsoever.
No, neither did I.
Like I get what
I
they were
liked
trying
Linda
to
Lake.
go for.
But also the baseball player that
Idol.
got like terminated, he was literally about to commit murder. Are we
Yeah.
not going to talk about that?
Exactly. There's nothing to like in this episode. Everyone is just either dumb or bad. It just
And we haven't seen the last of Linda Lake either. We see her again.
You'll see her again at some point.
Not this season, but some point.
Not this season. No.
like to quote Mr. Incredible when the criminal gets away, he got away. Or in the case of this, she got away.
Linda Lake is going to write an article. And then she writes an article. Which really, wouldn't it be able to find her if she writes an article? Because you really think she's going to stop writing articles?
That's like her ultimate power. Then turning into water.
Writing bullshit. Or writing
bullshit.
writing
writing gossip bullshit.
This is how Clark's secret is revealed. I mean, it's going to be in this stupid blog from a woman named Linda Lake. It's going to be so lame, isn't it?
You know, if this was right now, she would probably write an article that says Clark and Lex has a thing for Clark.
The Clex.
She would try to make it like Clex.
They did make fun of that. They did make fun of it on behind. Yeah, the showrunners did make fun of that. Clex.
They tried that shit in Gotham, by the way, to make the Penguin have feelings for the Riddler.
Really?
Yes, they do that in season 2 or 3, and I'm like, it makes no freaking sense whatsoever either. Like they tried that, like literally the Penguin's like, I think I'm in love with the Riddler, and then literally it makes no sense.
If you're gonna make a love story, make it make sense. Don't just force it just to have the two of them be together for whatever the reason. Makes no sense.
I don't know why they make because the Riddler's like, I'm not like that, Edward. Or the Riddler's like, I'm not like that, Oswald. And Oswald's like, you hate me, and then he wants to kill him. And I'm like, that there could have been a better way to make them enemies, but I'm like, I don't understand why they did that in Gotham. I think they were trying to like make it, from what I understand, I think they were trying to make it them turn them as enemies, and it just come off as weird. It's like it'll be like Lex Luthor having feelings for Superman, and then Superman rejects him, so then he starts growing a hatred for Superman. You're just like, I don't think that would work because, I'm all for representation and all, but like, it wouldn't make sense because they're two supervillains that have never in comics or in the show even had sexual feelings for each other, so it makes no sense.
But we're gonna change all that.
Even like I honestly feel like that's the only thing I hate when TV shows, when they just like turn a character, like they turn this character into this, like, okay, we're gonna make this character have this arc, and I'm like, why though? It's like, it's like that.
I mean, I get that you wanted to have this representation of these iconic characters, but
the sad thing is they already have like 14. They already have like 4 people.
Yeah, like you can add another character that is representation if you want to add that. Don't just try to force it on these iconic characters they never intended to be.
Yeah, that's my only issue I have with Supergirl season 2 is that they made Alex into a lesbian, and I'm like, in season 1, she never had any of these feelings. Like,
I never had.
She was in a relationship with Maxwell Lord. I'm like, where did this come from?
It just felt like it was like very sudden.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not complaining about representation.
No, not at all.
That I'm just saying, whenever they try to make a storyline up to, I guess, they're like, well, we don't like for instance, Star Trek and Beyond, when they made Mr. Sulu gay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's not gay though. Like
I
he's
never,
never
well,
come
well,
off
we
as
never
gay.
really knew.
Like,
Well, here's the thing with Sulu's character in Star Trek 1 and 2, like the first 2009 and Into Darkness, we never even know about his representation, what his sexual preference was. We just know that he's a pilot, and that's all we know about him.
yeah.
And suddenly, when
Which,
they
you know,
add,
George
and
Takei was
suddenly when,
pissed too
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
and also when you add him as a gay character, and he has a husband. But that never adds anything to the story. So what was the point of that? It was
Well,
like,
because
yeah,
they were hoping that people would be like, oh, representation's like, ooh, like,
representation makes money.
and then George Takei got pissed about that too.
Yeah, he got pissed about it.
He says, I'm gay, but my character isn't. Mr. Sulu's straight. He's banged women. He has relationships with women.
And also there's this one interview with Raven Simone who did That So Raven. She did not want her character to be a lesbian. It's like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. And then it's like, hey, do you want to turn your character into a lesbian? And she's like, no, why? That wouldn't make no sense for my character.
It's like Takei saw that and he was like, "Oh my, that's a terrible idea."
Oh,
that would totally be accurate to what he would
By the way,
say.
Family Guy did the better joke when it made Mr. Sulu gay. When it goes, this is like that episode of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Sulu, and then Dr. Jekyll's like, hello, and then just the man walks by, and goes, oh my, hello. And then, just like that's and the funny thing was they got George Takei to actually voice Mr. Sulu at that.
Yeah, that's how.
And then the funny part was
he's hilarious.
When Peter's going to get a prostate exam, and then they're like, "What the hell?" And then Mr. Sulu goes, "Hello." or no, the funniest joke was whenever he goes to the doctor and pulls his pants down and says, "Doc, he's on the USS Enterprise," and says, and he's trying to get a doctor to look at his bum for prostate because he sued his doctor, so no doctor will practice on him. And so he goes to the USS Enterprise to get Dr. McCoy too. And he goes, Dr. McCoy, I really need you to give me a prostate exam. He goes, why? So you can sue me too? No, get off here. And he pulls his bridge and goes, just look at my ass, please. And then Mr. Sulu walks by and goes, hello. Looks at his ass and goes, hello. Because just I gotta see the clip. It's really funny. It's like I thought that was I always died laughing when he said that. I was like, but yeah.
He likes to make fun of himself.
Mr. George Takei is so funny, dude.
He's hilarious.
He's so funny. He knows. But yeah, I've always thought that was really, especially. I just thought they were baffled. I always thought it was funny when they were doing press for Star Trek Beyond. They're like he was mad that we made his character. I'm like, well, yeah, because he's like, he's like that's what he's like.
Like,
they
dude,
were baffled.
It's like saying like, hey, like I may be gay in real life, but don't make my character gay just because I'm gay. Like, makes no sense.
It'd be like they tried to make Gandalf or Magneto
or
gay.
Magneto, yeah.
And they'd be like, it doesn't make any sense because
it's like don't try to just switch their sexual preference just so that because the actor is in real life. Like, no, he's playing a fictional character.
Yeah, which by the way, I just thought that was really, really funny. Yeah, that George, especially but yeah, I'm just saying but going back to Small, it'd be like if they did that, like Superman, like if Linda Lake did that, I'm like nowadays they probably would, and it would make no sense whatsoever because you're just like,
no.
Or it'd be like trying to make Luke Skywalker gay. And it was like,
yeah, they can't do that because in the books, which are no longer canon, but even still, like he had a sort of kind of wife in Mara Jade. Hello.
It's like it makes no sense.
I know because like if your character starts off not being intended to be gay in the first place, don't just suddenly do a bait and switch suddenly just because like make it make sense.
I mean, I'm gonna say like whenever they make like Catwoman bi and Harley Quinn bi, that makes sense to me because
Harley Quinn made a lot more sense because it was intended for them to have some kind of relationship. A love relationship in the beginning of the pilot of Harley Quinn.
Like there are some people like on YouTube that were like, "Oh, I want we want Harley Quinn."
A lot of people complain about that. A lot of people complain about their love story. I was like, no, it made a lot more sense.
It doesn't bother me, but the only thing is that like people, as long as they know where like the Joker, I want them to do an accurate story of her with the Joker before she breaks off from him. Because I feel like Birds of Prey tried to do that, but they didn't do a perfect job of that. It feels still like they still need it. Because I mean, they've only did like a 5-minute story about Harley and the Joker, and that wasn't even faithful. I hope Joker Folia Do does that justice, that storyline justice. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But I know like there are people like I know there's certain YouTubers that are like, she should get with Harley, and they should make Harley Quinn like the animated series Harley Quinn. And I'm like, you do know that is a parody, right? Like
Yeah,
that
it's
show is
a
like
it's a
Adam
pair.
West's
It's
Batman, but
literally
like a
a
raunchier.
satire show. It's a
Like,
satire.
no, I would not want Harley Quinn to be like a moron, Harley Quinn to be like that, and then Batman to be, because Batman is a moron in that show, and Commissioner Gordon's a psycho, and like the joke is
He's a drunk psycho.
Like literally, it's a joke, and King Shark is
Yeah,
like,
it's made. They're poking fun of it. That's the whole point of the Harley Quinn series. It's not a grounded serious. It's
the
a
Joker's
comedy
a douche.
parody. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like I said,
Just like Bane, just like the character Bane, he's making fun of the fucking Tom Hardy's voice from the Dark Knight Rises, which I thought that was perfect.
And the Winter's and the Riddler looks like a white supremacist in that show. Like literally, he's bald and he got a question mark on his forehead, which is a joke, by the way, from Batman Forever, Jim Carrey. Because that was Jim Carrey's supposed to look like a Batman Forever, and until he was due for his divorce in court, and they just made him have orange hair. Which I just thought that was the funniest joke of that show. The first episode is when a security guard gets killed and says, "How did you get a plant?" Tells Poison Ivy that, and then the Riddler runs by his cell and goes, "I ate an apple and I shit out the seeds." I was like, gross. But yeah, I really didn't this. But yeah, going back to this shitty episode. This episode is not very good.
No.
It's not very good. I will say I do like the Linda Lake stuff. Other than that, I know the Green Arrow stuff. The Linda Lake stuff's okay, but I just don't.
The Green Arrow stuff was better. I'd rather watch that. I wanted that to be the whole episode.
Yeah. So let's just get this rating over with, because we all hate this episode. Let's get it over. We all know everybody knows everything about this episode now.
Yeah, Jacob, what do you got?
4 out of 10.
All right, Matt, what about you?
Well, to quote Dwayne Johnson, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever seen. It's a 3 out of 10. It's so awful, especially at the end when she finally says yes to Lex. When she was having second thoughts, and I was like yelling at the TV, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? Really?"
The big deuce for this one, and yes, this is symbolic. This is a 2 out of 10 for me. This was just a chore to sit through.
You think this is like Aaron White's favorite episode of the season?
I mean,
none
of that would surprise me.
Knowing him, probably.
I guarantee it's going to be higher. It's like, oh, this is like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
I predict now he's going to give it a 7.
He's gonna probably do that just watching it. He's going, oh, it's 7.
Yeah, since now we got these 3 episodes out of the way.
I'm gonna ask him
wait till the next episode, Absolute Justice. I'm excited to get into that.
Oh, Justice episode is really good.
Yeah, Justice episode. Was that the one that we're gonna do for the watch party for that episode, or no?
Well, first of all, I imagine no one would, but if you did enjoy any of these episodes, let us know in the comments. We would love to read what you have to say. For a preview of next week, we're going to be covering season 6, episodes 11, 12, and 13.
The best episode.
Which are Justice, Labyrinth, and Crimson, respectively.
Wait, what's the second one called?
Labyrinth.
Oh, that is the episode that
you'll
find out who the man is. The man.
You'll find out who the stranger shows up in that episode, and they'll have the actor show up, and you'll know who he is.
But let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. Jacob Collins, what do you got coming up?
Well, I have a bowel movement coming up at 6, and then I have afterwards. I was supposed to have a Quiet Place Part 2 come out this past week. I'm trying to get it out this week. I just got YouTube blocked it for some reason, so I'm trying to get it unblocked. And then, of course, once that comes out, I got a video game review coming up, and then small talk and talk of sounds. That's about it.
All right, Matt, what about you?
Well, you can find Jake in the bathroom. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, yeah, you can find my YouTube channel, and you can just subscribe. My goal is to reach 500. And my recent review, I just put up A Quiet Place Day 1 and Independence Day, because I just put it up like that yesterday because it's the 4th of July weekend. So if you want to find my social media links, the link tree will be down in the description below.
You're right, Matt. I just saw your text. Yeah. All right.
Well, these guys' links will be in the description. Go give them a subscribe. My road to Deadpool and Wolverine has begun. Reviews for X-Men and X2 as of this recording. Well, X-Men is up. X2 is being edited. It will be up Saturday. Saturday or Sunday. And then I'll be covering X3 The Last Stand, Jacob Collins' favorite of these movies. Not
Fuck that
sarcasm
movie.
whatsoever. And then
Piece of shit.
continuing on with that, and then Talking Silence will be back very soon. 1999 project rolls on, so got a lot of really interesting things coming to the channel. So subscribe, comment, like, do the thing. For Matt Wyatt, for Jacob Collins, my name is Ryan Cam. For Truth, for Justice, for the American Way, always hold on to Smallville. We will see you all next week. Take care.